Hey y'all, Jeff Nowak here, NOLA.com's digital sports producer. We're here live from remote locations to talk about the Saints and our Saints live chat series that we have going on. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Hancock Whitney Bank, for helping us bring this to y'all. And I have with me our two Saints beat reporters for NOLA.com, Amy Just and Luke Johnson, and our columnist, Rod Walker, who's a little hidden behind the NOLA.com logo, but I assure you he's there. We're here to do a quick live mailbag on a few reader questions to get y'all ready for the Bears-Saints wildcard round matchup coming at you on Sunday. And so without further ado, I'll let these guys take it away. Who wants to talk first? Because we didn't establish that.
I'll take it. We were kind of discussing before we came on a question that I thought was pretty interesting. And Amy, this is actually somebody sent you this question earlier. So if you want to actually take it away, because I thought this was a great question.
Yeah. So this is from my friend Alex. I go running with him like almost every Tuesday. But yeah, so it's with all of the Saints' injuries or COVID issues or suspensions this year on offense, who do you think has been the most consistent and valuable to the Saints' success? And I've got to think, even though he's been hurt a little bit, I'm going with an interesting pick here and saying Ryan Ramczyk. Just because I know he's not like your traditional playmaker, but the Saints' offensive line has been so crucial for the Saints' success this season, and they've used several different units. I think it's 5 or 6 different starting lines.
6.
6, yeah. Whew. And Ryan has been one of the two that have started every game. And I think that the offensive line in general has been the most valuable position group for offense. And with him being, a mainstay, he deserves to be in the conversation.
I was going to go with Ramczyk too when the question first popped up, and I guess that's because I was trying to avoid saying Alvin Kamara because I thought he was like the obvious answer. So since Amy took Ryan, I go with Alvin Kamara. I think he's, he's carried this offense. They've been without Michael Thomas and played 4 games without Drew, and Kamara's obviously had an outstanding season, 21 touchdowns, led the league this year. So I guess I'll go with him. And Luke, I'm not going to put any pressure on you to make you pick a third person, but if you want to.
No, this is no pressure at all. Y'all are giving me the easy one here. Look. This Saints team was top 5 in defense for the first time since 2013. Top 5 in total defense, top 5 in scoring defense for the first time in a long time. I think that is the unit that week in, week out, especially in that last part of the year, it kind of saved this team's chances at even getting a number 1 seed. So if I'm looking at this team and why it is where it is right now, I say the defense. And if I'm looking at why the defense is consistently week in, week out, giving this team a chance to win, I'm going to say DeMario Davis. The guy was just an unbelievable part of that defense this year. You can always count on him to make huge plays in the passing game, in the running game, whether he's making tackles behind the line of scrimmage, making sacks, deflecting passes in coverage. He is just an elite linebacker in every way, shape, and form. When you got that guy in the middle of the defense running things, never leaving the field, you got a chance to win every week. Easy. Come on, guys.
Offense.
I thought you were just making it easy.
Offense?
All right. If we're talking about offense.
Yeah, the question about offense.
You did miss that part of the question, Luke.
I thought you guys were just making it easy on me.
No.
We could do it for defense too, though. I think.
Your friend asked a poor question because I wanted to talk about Mario Davis.
Hey, if we're including defense in this too, I do feel like the big guys in the middle tend to get overlooked, and a guy who's had an incredible season that everyone seems to forget about, David Onyemata, has been a monster all year long. Everyone talks about Trey Hendrickson because he has all the sacks, and those are the numbers you talk about. But that dude has just been unstoppable, especially in those that second Bucs game. I want to say he just was living in Tom Brady's face.
Yeah, I agree with that. And before the season, someone asked me who was the one player on defense I thought this team could not be without, and at the time I said Marshawn Lattimore, and then he goes out of game, and the Saints do just fine without him. So I mean, yeah, I think Anyamata and DeMario, those would be my two guys for sure. I would think. I think they both had really good seasons.
Do I have to pick an offensive guy?
Yeah.
But it can't be the other two.
Yeah. No,
I did have a third. I had one more offensive guy, so I bet you'll pick him, but we'll see.
Well, I don't know. I thought Eric McCoy's had a really good, underrated year. He's been really super steady there. And he's the guy who only really shows up when they've got like they're busting off a 40-yard run and he's sprinting downfield looking for another guy to kill. So he's been awesome. Emmanuel Sanders, I think, has been more valuable than people think this year, just with the number of injuries that they've had out there, just kind of giving them somebody out there with some experience and somebody to kind of lead the room. So I don't know if I'd say he's the most consistent player they've had this year, but he's been pretty big in my opinion as well.
The fact that we haven't talked about Eric McCoy much tells you that he's doing something right, probably. So
yeah.
He missed 3 snaps all season, I think.
He's good. And
he runs real fast for a big guy.
Yeah.
I do not want him like angry chasing me down the street.
Yeah, no.
I'm much smaller than him and I'm much slower than him. It's bad.
I think the Alvin Kamara like catch and run against the Packers is probably one of my favorite highlights from the last 5-10 years of football, just because he's not running any faster than Eric McCoy the entire way down the field, and I always enjoy that sort of thing.
I don't think he was trying though, Jeff.
No.
Well, I'm not saying he can't run faster than Eric McCoy.
So that more to you than the Shy Tuttle stiff arm?
Well, I mean that's like legendary. So and it's like in multiple languages, so it's tough to beat that. We have a question in the chat that I think is pertinent, just because we're in the playoffs now, so any of these games could theoretically be Drew Brees' final game of his career. And Arrow Strike, not a real name, but it's a decent question.
You don't know that. You don't know it's not good.
It's an interesting one way or the other. So you want to know, do you think this will be Brees' final game? So if the Saints come out and lose against the Bears, is this Brees' final game? What is kind of your, obviously no one knows but him, but what is your kind of impression as kind of seeing him operate and seeing him speak as he's come back from the rib injuries?
I've thought it's all along that this is going to be it for him. He came and he said this to us. He came really close to retiring last season. I just think, especially when you look at the injury he went through this year, I just don't see him coming back after this. But he's Drew Brees and he's super competitive. And if they come up short, maybe he will. But I mean, my best guess is this is the end for him, regardless.
Yeah, I agree with Rod. I just don't foresee him coming back. I know that Saints fans don't want it to end, but to be super cliche, all good things do come to an end. And I don't know. If he comes back, that would be great, but I don't think so.
Yeah, we'll make it 3 for 3. I think this might be the year that Brittany Brees tells him like, hey, maybe don't try to go back out there and collapse another lung and break 11 of your 24 ribs. I'm going to also get to the second part of this question too, though. I think the future of the Saints quarterback position is not really set in stone if Drew leaves this year. I don't think it's necessarily the Taysom Hill job. I think it was a huge thing for him this year to get an opportunity to show he could play quarterback, and I thought he did pretty well for a guy who's making his first through fourth career starts as an NFL quarterback. But I think they're going to make take a pretty exhaustive look at the position. The whole thing gets like really, it's kind of harder to take a real look at it when you consider the position they're going to be in with a salary cap. They could be, as of right now, they're like $100 million over the projected salary cap next year. They're going to have to like cut a bunch of people. The idea of Jameis Winston competing for the job is harder to envision in that scenario where he would have to take a contract very similar to the one he took this year to actually be a part of that. There's just a lot of questions about the future of this organization at quarterback if Drew doesn't come back next year, which I think we're all anticipating.
Yeah, I think
Another
the
thing,
one thing that is set in stone is that there is only one quarterback who is going to be under contract beyond this year, and that's, well, assuming Brees retires, and that's Taysom Hill. So I think one way or another you're going to see Taysom Hill on the roster. But yeah, I agree with that, Luke.
another thing about Drew, if this is his last season, it's just kind of unfortunate that we had no fans this season. He doesn't really get to, if this is it, that he doesn't get sent off the right way. That's probably one thing that I would hate to see about, in all of this. And Drew probably hates it as well, but because if anybody deserves a send off, it's Drew Brees. So
Yeah,
that's unfortunate if this is his last season.
he'll take a send off in Tampa Bay though.
Oh, no doubt.
He'll take that. Yeah,
That'll be the perfect send off for him.
Okay, so we have a less contemplative question and more of a what's going to happen question here from Mike, who and I think this is a good question because you're getting all these guys back, and Michael Thomas, Deontay Harris, the running backs, all of them. What do you think the offense is going to look like? Is it going to be a transition? I mean, obviously incorporating a guy like Mike back into an offense after he's only played 5 games this year. It's got to be an interesting transition.
Yeah, so I think it'd be foolish to expect to just anticipate that they're going to drop these guys right in and they're going to play like we're all used to seeing them together. I think we saw in the first half of the Kansas City game when they brought Drew Brees back, even somebody like Drew Brees who's so on point all the time, he had to find his rhythm. And the first game back with Michael Thomas, I think it was it might have been the San Francisco game or something like that. When they had Drew, Alvin, and Michael Thomas on the field together, they still they had a hard time getting Mike the ball. And I just think that there's it's good that they've been able to rest these guys. You want them healthy for the playoff stretch. They're not going to win a Super Bowl without Mike Thomas at something closer to 100% than what he was. But at the same time, I think it's not going to be. You can't expect it to just be like magic right away that they're all going to be feeling each other the way they usually are.
Yeah, Mike, against San Francisco, he caught 2 of the 7 passes that were thrown his way for 27 yards. Those aren't Michael Thomas numbers, though not all of that is on him, of course. But, yeah, I'm with Luke. I just don't see it as seamless as people want it to be. Obviously, it's going to be better than throwing guys out there who haven't had a whole lot of playing time, but it all takes time. And that chemistry, even though Mike and Drew have played together for a really long time, it's been a while. There's going to be some rust there, and not thinking otherwise. It'll work. I think the Saints totally beat Chicago this weekend. I know they're a good team, but as we move forward through the playoffs, knock on wood, I'm not a jinx. I think that you'll see the chemistry come back to what it was before.
I think the good thing about this Saints team now, though, is they don't have to come out and score 40 points to beat somebody. The defense, like Luke mentioned earlier, the defense is playing so well that, these guys have a little time to adjust and get in sync. And I know the playoffs things tighten up and you need to be ready to go. But I agree with everybody else. I think it's going to take a little while, maybe even just a half, but I think they're going to get it together. And again, I think the defense is good enough to carry them.
No, don't be surprised then, now that we've all said, we think it's going to take time for them to, come out and score 25 points in the first quarter. And Mike Thomas has 90 receiving yards by halftime. And, things like that tend to happen in this crazy season that we're in. So,
yeah, I will say one thing that you hope to see more than, him having a huge game is get through it healthy, right? That's been the huge issue all season. This is why he went on IR. He could have kept playing, I think, if he wanted to gut it out. But the whole point was to get him to the playoffs and have him be something representative of the guy you're used to seeing the last few years. I will correct one thing, Luke, that you said is he actually came back against the Bucks in Week 9, and the only reason I remember that is because I thought it was funny at the time that he had played 2 games this season, and both were against the Bucks.
Yeah.
And
He had a better game in that one than I think I remember. He had like 5 catches for like 50 yards or something like that.
Yeah,
I've got
more efficient at the very least. But the funny thing about this season for him, he's played more games with Taysom Hill at quarterback than he has with Drew Brees at quarterback.
Yeah, and he was playing pretty well before he went on IR. Like he had like 17 catches in those last 2 games. I think he'd established a pretty good rapport with Taysom. And Taysom's obviously like, oh, sweet, I get to throw the ball to Michael Thomas. I'm just going to do that a bunch. So, it's been a weird year to try to get a feel for what's going to happen with them because every game has been like a different thing. They've played 10 quarters together all season. So who knows? Who knows what the whole timing is going to be like. While we're waiting on Jeff to pick a question, because I see you scanning, Jeff. I saw somebody in here ask, who was it? I'm sorry, ma'am, I can't find your name. But somebody asked, will Kamara play Sunday? So rapid fire. What do you guys think?
Oh, I think he plays. Just kind of looking at some of them talking about the preparations this week and him trying to do practice things virtually. And you think back to how Sean talks about, he always brags about how smart Alvin is and how he picks up on things. And I think he's too talented not to play.
I'm going to couch my answer and say maybe.
What'd you say?
I said I'm couching my answer and saying maybe. Because he still has to
offer it.
Like,
how about
it's not 2020 anymore, but he still has to get cleared. Like CJ Gardner-Johnson was supposed to get cleared today and he didn't. So you just have to.
Okay, but let's remove the hypothetical. Let's say that he is
cleared. Yeah,
he's going to be cleared.
If he gets cleared, then I think he plays. But I don't know how much he'll play. Yeah,
see, that's the thing. I think he plays, but I think they're going to have to limit what they do with him. Because the difference, as smart as Alvin is, and he's very smart, and I think there's only a handful of guys in this team who you could trust to go out there and not practice in this offense and still be where they're supposed to be, because the whole thing is dependent on space and timing and all that stuff. As smart as he is, I just don't think that it'd be responsible on the Saints' part to build this huge package of Alvin Kamara plays in there and just hope that he has it picked up virtually. Maybe you kind of have a test package out there and he looks good and you're like, okay, let's just roll with it. But I would anticipate his numbers kind of are a little bit down and they just kind of take their shots where they can.
So you're saying this isn't the week to expect the elusive Alvin Kamara halfback pass?
Dude.
That would be hilarious if this is the week they broke it out, actually.
Probably not, but I mean, I don't think Chicago would expect it either. So
right.
Sure. That might be the only thing he remembers.
Right.
So I guess we can close on, so we kind of did the hypothetical, okay, will he play? But what if he doesn't play? What would be kind of the expectation of how the Saints would operate under that situation, which, they did last year for a few games and they haven't had to yet this year. What would you expect to see from them?
Latavius Murray's a really good running back. Like, I'm not worried about him at all.
And he had like 150 some odd yards against Chicago last year. It's 2 different teams. But
yeah.
And I think this team they've shown all season long that they can sort of get it done without one person. Obviously, Alvin's a really big piece to this puzzle, but I think they would. I don't know about some other teams, but I think this team can beat Chicago without Kamara if they had to.
If they have to.
I'm not going to repeat it a 4th time. Y'all understand what they mean.
All right. Anything else y'all want to touch on? Otherwise, I think we can wrap this up.
Well, if it's not necessarily a question, but if you haven't seen or read or heard Emmanuel Sanders' take on New Orleans yet today, I would highly recommend going to seek that out. We'll have something up on it shortly on NOLA.com. I just think that this year we've learned, even despite not being able to talk to these guys in person, there's like a lot of really great characters on this team who have been willing to like share their charisma with us over Zoom calls, which has been really nice, like giving me some life in this box that I'm currently living in right now.
Yeah, no, for sure. I was just laughing listening to Emmanuel today. Like, he started off the Zoom today saying he needed a haircut, which is exactly how he started it last time. And I'm just like, you said that last week. He's like, I know, but I need one. And like, you miss the personal touches sometimes with these Zooms because they can feel a little robotic. But he's been, like Alvin, who won our media award, has been a breath of fresh air this season for sure.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird, none of us have ever even met Emmanuel Sanders in person, I guess. So we've been on Zoom since he's been here. So it's good when you have a player like that who you don't even know, but he lets that personality come out and over a teleconference. So it's appreciated by us because no doubt our jobs became a little harder this year of not being in the locker room and get that normal interaction that we get with players.
Yeah, I see Mike Hobbs. Mike Hobbs saw the Emmanuel Sanders take today. Flava, let's go.
Yeah, we get some interesting names, especially from the YouTube comments. Luke, are you wearing your Asics now?
I was just about to ask that.
Big Asics guy.
There they are.
Big Asics guy.
Perfect. I hope Emmanuel's watching.
Talking smack. He didn't even know it, man.
Oh, the beast. The trophy came in today. Since Alvin is still on COVID, he hasn't gotten it yet, but it turned out pretty good.
It's true.
Nice.
Yeah, we saw the picture of it.
Maybe 2021 will be the year that we can start sending trophies to Alvin Kamara in person. But who knows? Anyway. Yeah. Thanks, y'all, for watching. Again, this is a Saints Live Chat brought to you by Hancock Whitney Bank, our sponsor. We have Amy Just and Luke Johnson, our NOLA.com Saints beat reporters. Follow them on Twitter at Amy Just, by Luke Johnson. We have Rod Walker, our Saints columnist, at Rod Walker NOLA. Check out their work on NOLA.com. It's NOLA.com/sports/Saints. I'm getting better at saying that. And as always, thanks for being here.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, y'all, for joining. All right. Let's see. I have a fancy video.